Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dice Cast. I'm Russell, and with me I have...
Fishman.
When last we left off, Aquans and Jonas were spending some time in Lyria, preparing for their next move, when they were awoken rather rudely in the middle of the night by a magical attempt on their life by a wizard who apparently had bought the room next to theirs, drilled a hole through it so he could see into the room, and then summoned a bunch of mephits to attack them. Through some quick thinking on Aquans' part, he was able to dismantle this plan quickly, and our two heroes were able to apprehend the individual who was later identified by Aldrich as the necromancer responsible for the recent events in Lyria, whom they had apparently been closing in on and were gathering evidence to convict.
Yep.
Following this late night encounter, our two wizards then set out towards Rosemary's spot on the spot on the map marked by Rosemary, which detonated where a hydra was, to find some of its shed skin to produce hydra salts for potions of superior healing. Arriving there, they were attacked and came to the realization that there was a group of goblins that had taken to living in the same ruin as the Hydra and seemed to be feeding / worshipping it. Making it down through into the Hydra's lair, Aquans and Jonas were able to use a mixture of trickery and illusion to distract the Hydra long enough for them to get the necessary Hydra skins, and they took the shed skin to Rosemary, and she was going to begin the processing on that.
Yep.
So that's what happened last time. So a bit of time has passed in between this session and the previous one.
Oh,
It says because the process to processing the Hydra, the shed skin of the Hydra into the Hydra salts, that will take some time. We've been taking a bit of time off, but and resting a little bit and preparing for whatever's coming ahead. So about an in-game week has gone by.
yay. We needed some.
Yes, we needed some rest after the previous encounter. So, is there anything you want to try and do in the time period for that week, or are we just skipping by that?
There is, a necessary amount of research time that we need to use as an ongoing basis, and we have the library, so I'm going to spend most of my time there.
Right.
Unless Rosemary gets in any mandrake root, I have literally nothing to do except take some time off and do some reading and recoup from all our stress lately.
And do some research into new spells that we might be getting when we reach our next level.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yes. All right. Well, if you have nothing else, then I guess I'll say that is what we spend the week doing at the library and at the Arcane Research Academy in Lyria.
So I take it Rosemary did not get any any mandrake root in?
No, she has not yet.
Okay.
All right. So, we're going to pick up coming into game on the morning of basically a week after the last session.
All right.
So, clearly you can prepare any spells.
I already did that.
Yeah. Everything we have is definitely refreshed by this point.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't need to roll for wands and stuff because it's all recharged by now.
And I get 2 new portents.
Yep. All right.
All right. So, wake of the morning, we go prepared and we head down to breakfast.
Yep.
And for the first time in quite a while since we've been in Lyria, the Crested Kingfisher relatively empty at the moment.
Oh, Finally. Things are finally dying down to a normal low-level winter stuff.
Yes. Also, there have been some string of events going on in uh, on the Isle of Fog, and a large number of adventurers have gone off towards it. And then there's the obvious attacks to various ships at the moment by the, as of yet, still, as far as we know, secret dragon. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah. People are going to begin to wonder why, there's smoke on the horizon half the time.
Yeah. Another thing that we noticed is in the past week, the dragon has been relatively quiet. There's been no more overt attacks on anything at the moment.
Well, I suppose a dragon needs downtime too every now and then.
Yes. To spend time on whatever new riches it's acquired.
Yeah. Stare at its hoard, lay on its hoard,
Yeah.
fondle its hoard, whatever a dragon does.
Usually they are sleeping on it, but that just might be because of smog.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, so we're finishing up breakfast.
Yep.
When someone we recognize as one of Lyria's couriers comes in.
Oh.
This is someone whose entire job is to run messages back and forth and to look for people. And they spot us and immediately come up to us.
So they're just in standard liveries of the college, I assume, or
technically the couriers are employed by the council, so they're a bit more of a town official.
Yep.
We don't recognize them, but we do recognize the outfit.
Yep.
And they come up to us and says, this is I'm here to deliver a message to the two of you, and reaches into their satchel and pulls out basically a letter and hands it to you.
What? Not a scroll? I thank him. What do you do? We usually tip these guys.
Are you going to tip them?
Sure. Give them a gold piece.
They are ecstatic because that was a 17.
All right. He's going to want to deliver messages to us from now on.
Yes. So he pockets the gold piece, thanks us, and heads off. Mark down, obviously, you spent a gold piece off your character sheet.
Yeah. -1 GP.
Yes, I know we're not exactly hurting for money at the moment.
No.
Nevertheless, keep track of it.
I shall.
Yes.
I open the
letter.
Is it got a seal that I recognize?
It does. It has the basically symbol which Rosemary uses on the Rosemary's Time and Clockwork, her store, basically.
Oh.
Basically has like an insignia.
Yep. I open it up.
Yeah. All right. So you open the letter. And it is addressed to us.
Okay.
And it says the two of you might want to come to my store today. Come by my store today. I've managed to finish up the processing of the hydra salts. However, there's another matter which might hinder your efforts to proceed with your potion making. It says, and by the council's urging, I've been asked to reach out to the two of you for assistance.
All right. Have we finished our breakfast?
Yes, we were just finishing up.
All right. Off to Rosemary. It's all that long trek to her place.
Yes. And it still does take us a few minutes to get there.
Yeah.
Lyria is a big city.
True enough.
However, much like the Crested Kingfisher, things in Lyria do seem to be settling down a little bit.
Right.
After all the recent excitement that's been happening.
Yeah. All right. Where is the little pixie?
All right, so we go into Rosemary's Time and Clockwork.
Yep.
And she is not really pacing. But
is there a shop image up, or
I didn't put it in now. I forgot to do that. It's fine. We've seen what it looks like.
Yeah.
So she's not really pacing, but she's kind of just flapping her little wings back and forth. So the pixie equivalent of pacing.
Rosemary, you seem distressed.
Yeah, and she flaps over to us. Again, you notice that her store is also relatively empty.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, we've given her enough money over the last little while to
Yeah,
see us.
she's definitely not hurting for money either.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, it is starting to seem like people in Lyria might be tweaking to the fact that there might be something just a little bit wrong at the moment.
Hmm. Yeah.
Nothing, but that's all as far as you can tell.
All right, Rosemary, what can we do for you?
She says, "I'm glad you came. Says, I've been asked to reach out to you on behalf of the city council.
Okay.
Says,
For what?
well, as you know, I've been processing the hydra salts.
Yep.
Says, well, in the last week, one of a shipment of a variety of alchemical and magical reagents and components should have come in, but
Yes.
has not.
Okay. This hits me where it hurts.
She says it's been a little disconcerting, especially since there were some rather important items destined for the uh, research academy.
Yep.
She says, unfortunately, it says with the current personnel shortages due to the discovery on the Isle of Fog and the current possible dangers to Lyria itself.
Mm-hmm.
It says,
Oh,
uh,
insight check.
you want to
Well,
insight check. Okay, what are you insight checking?
when she says dangers to Lyria itself, uh, I'm gonna see if there's a glimmer of maybe she knows what's happening.
All right, I guess I have to roll against this here.
Okay, insight is wisdom, right? I have a
Yes.
17.
Well, she rolled a natural one. So from that, you were able to glean that she is referring to both the dragon,
Hmm.
which means that that word is probably getting around the fact that, oh, there's a dragon possibly flying around and attacking
Yep.
our ships and whatnot.
Yep.
The other thing is the obvious fact is it probably definitely has spread among the populace at this point that the Legion of the Iron Fist is not has basically set up camp not far from Lyria's borders,
Hmm.
and that this is also a much more growing concern. And also, there's obviously the fact a lot of personnel in Lyria have left to go to the Isle of Fog and perform research there.
Yes. Lots going on.
Yeah. She says, I have the official decree here for uh, what the council wishes you to do.
All right. What's that say?
All right. Well, basically, apart from it summarizes what you just told us that a very important shipment on an actual ship was coming into Lyria. It has not arrived. It's now 3 days overdue,
Okay.
and they fear something has gone untoward has happened to it.
Yeah.
And given the fact, and it doesn't say that, but given the fact that there is a dragon flying around attacking Lyria's ships, you think that probably tops the list of their concerns at the moment.
Yeah. It's not like you and I could take on a dragon, though.
Yeah. So they want us to, specifically, does the request does call for our aid
Yep.
to basically track down the ship, or more specifically, the missing shipment,
Yep.
and retrieve, at all possible, two very important items, which are which the Academy has singled out that was on board the ship.
And they would be.
The first is a rare treatise, Ferdinand's Guide to Arcane Antiquities, a book that the wizards and scholars at the Magical Research Academy hope will help them put their newfound arcanums to use.
Okay.
And the other is a sealed container of planar essence from the astral sea, an incredibly rare magical component which is required for the Academy's arcanum research.
All right. Okay.
And And Rosemary says, and there's also a bunch of other potentially rare alchemical magical components on board, which were just meant for my store and other places. That
Any mandrake root?
says, well, I did order some, so there's a good chance there's some still on board.
Probably gone missing. Well, all right. So, where was this ship from? What was its general route? We need some sort of margin because otherwise, this might be very difficult to peg down.
It would have been coming up from the southern Lyrian coast.
East, west.
Well, if you remember correctly, Lyria is on a bay.
Yep.
And despite the fact that the way this is done is technically the upper end of this image is technically the southern coast.
Yes, I know.
So yeah, so it would have been coming up
from the around this way or from around that way.
It would have been coming up the coast from Lyria. The way you can see on the map, basically. So,
oh, is that next?
No.
No.
It would have been coming up this coast here.
Okay, so it's going to be coming up this coast from here.
Yes.
All right.
Up is down on this map, like ancient Egypt.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, it would have been coming following the bay route. She says.
All right.
I'm just gonna ask you to roll an intelligence check for me.
19.
All right. It eludes me, but you recognize the name Ferdinand. It was referenced in the Arcanum, the Archive Arcanum, one of the books you perused in there. It mentioned his name. It was by him, effectively.
Oh, okay. What was
I believe it was an account of the final battle.
Oh. Ferdinand the Bull.
No, Ferdinand the Sage.
Okay. All right. Anything other kinds of hints or clues that she can give us?
Only that it should be relatively near. It's nearing its destination. She suspects based on the time it was supposed to have gotten here.
Okay.
But again, that's only an estimate.
All right.
Because you could try speaking to the council if they have any more information. But this is all they sent over.
Oh, I don't really know any more. I mean, obviously, it's gone missing from its last port of call.
Yes.
Between there and here.
Yes, they know it left where it was going from.
Well, I'm sure it stops in. I mean, Lyria is major, but there are other towns and whatnot. It probably has ports of call.
Yes.
And somewhere in there, well, I assume they have word from the last port of call that it left.
And I did not make it here.
All right. Cool. Thank you. We'll just let you know.
All right.
It's unfortunate about the Mandrake route, but
yes. Oh, she does have the hydrosalts processed though now.
Oh, cool. I'll take those.
Yeah. So I believe the agreement was that we were getting the odd numbered one. So you can write down. She gives you 5 jars of what basically does look like salt, though it is basically processed shed hydra skin.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We've eaten worse things.
Yes. And as you know, this is an important ingredient in the creation of potions of superior healing. So write down you have 5 of those now.
Yeah, I wrote it down.
All right. So we have a bit of a puzzle on our hands.
Yes.
How do we go about finding this ship with only the information we've been given?
The complete lack of information we've been given. All right. Well, I suppose we better find out where the last port of call was. So we should probably go to the council first.
Right.
because that will narrow our search range down a little bit, hopefully.
I also speak at this point and I say another possibility if you could talk to people at the harbor. They may have some idea of where it might have ended up if they were expecting it to come in.
All right, let's do both of those.
Okay. All right, where would you like to start?
Well, we are basically right near the council.
We are
chamber.
basically in between the two.
Yeah. So let's go into the inner city, the inner part.
Yeah.
And go to the council chambers and see if we can find someone who knows anything. I know that's an oxymoron considering it is bureaucracy, but there has to be somebody there who knows something.
All right. Well, we'll make this an investigation check with my assistant.
All right. Oh, that's a 1 and a natural 20. What a bizarre roll. Fortunately, it was advantage, not disadvantage.
Yep.
So.
All right. So.
Total of 27.
Total of 27, yes. So you rolled a natural 20. That's the important part. So we go into the council building. At this point, we are basically asked to show our guild crests. We aren't exactly completely famous yet, where everyone knows us on sight. Nevertheless, you start asking around for anyone who might know about the location of the ship.
Yeah, anybody who has information about its ports of call.
So you're able to track someone down who is basically in charge of importing and exporting goods of this nature.
Apparently, very quickly and easily.
Very quickly, you find this council member in their office.
Okay. And what does he actually know?
All right. He knows where his last port of call was.
All right.
It's been confirmed. The ship left there basically a day, or basically 2 days before it should have made it to Lyria.
All right.
Right, so that would have been about 5 days ago, is when it left there.
Okay.
And given the fact it should have taken, in fact, it basically should have managed to make it to Lyria in that time, within 2 days. We're given basically a very, we do have a narrower field to search.
All right. So I pull out my map.
Yes.
And I ask him to mark where that last port of call was on it.
Yes.
So that we have, like I said, a narrower range to have to search.
Yes, we do have that now.
All right.
All right. So based on
what
that,
was the name of the ship?
he doesn't have the name of the ship actually.
All right, don't worry about it. We'll go to the harbor. They should know what it is there.
Yes, that seems to have got him lost.
All right.
He does have a desk full of paperwork, by the way.
It's okay. This is more than I expected of the bureaucracy.
Yeah.
All right. Thank him. Leave. Head to the harbor. Flag down the harbor master. We can find him.
All right. I'll ask for a separate investigation check now to find the harbor master.
Total of 22.
22.
Wasting all the good rolls now.
Yeah, you do find the harbor master. It takes a bit longer because that's not a natural 20. Nevertheless, you are able to find him.
Snap my fingers. Oh, there you are.
All right, and I assume and what exactly are you inquiring with him about?
Well, I have the proclamation or whatever, that document that the...
Yes, Rosemary's handed you that.
Yeah, so I proffer that.
Yes.
I said, okay, first off, we need to find what the ship is. So I need from you at least a description of the ship, possibly its name, stuff like that, and where you think it would have been, its course that it would have charted.
All right. So, for those who are familiar with naval history, the ship would be a galley, which is effectively you can see the ships on our image there, are a close approximation of what those are.
All right.
Yes. So it'd be the sort of ship that is very common coming through Lyria.
Yep.
Anyway, and he has the ship's name, which is rather interestingly, because we also can see that on the map, the Sea Serpent. And he knows the captain and knows that it's unlikely this is just some unrelated that basically is just like there's a minor mishap. Something's clearly gone wrong if this ship's captain is in trouble. They've managed to steer ships through storms and even pirate attacks. So something out of the ordinary must have happened.
Actually, that's a good question. During our last week of research, has there been a storm?
No, there's been some like inclement weather, like it's snowed. It's basically there's been some sleet a little bit locally, but nothing that you consider like a storm that would put a ship in danger, especially
Okay.
one that would regularly travel these waters.
Okay. All right. That's basically all the information we can get.
Yeah, and he basically just reaffirms the basic area where they think the ship's gone missing.
Okay, so
So,
how much in the way of distance are we talking about?
well, it's about 2 days by galley. So,
Well, we're not doing
no. So, given the fact that we have broomsticks that fly,
that. Yeah.
we could possibly make it there to. We could head out now and basically, in a single day's flight, cover most of the area, you think? Which means you might be able to find it today, or if not, tomorrow.
It's gonna be cold.
It is. That is unavoidable.
Oh, speaking of which, I am, until I say otherwise, my stone is permanently set to
Cold resistance.
because I'm a wimp.
Yes.
Well, I've spent most of my time outside, but that doesn't mean I enjoy winter.
Nevertheless, this is the first time you've seriously traveled during the winter.
Well, that and flying is even worse than walking.
All right.
So,
With that information in hand, do we want to head out now, or are there any supplies you want to pick up?
well, don't need any more supplies. Can't think of anything. I take it locate object does not work on a ship.
Well, I can locate a ship, but there are several ships in the harbor, and the range of locate object is 1,000 feet.
Yeah. Not really useful in this particular situation.
No.
Any other scrying spells help us locate something specifically like a ship?
Locate object is the most specific spell, I'm afraid, that would work on that. The only spell that has greater range than that would be clairvoyance, but I'd just be picking a spot to describe from within 1 mile of us currently.
And that's nowhere near enough.
No.
All right. Looks like we're going to hop on some brooms
Yes.
with a thermos of hot drink.
All right. So you go and invent a thermos and fill it full of hot tea.
Yep. Off we go.
And off we go.
So I'm going to have my owl out because if I'm going to freeze, so should she.
Alice is definitely not going to be out. I imagine this would be traumatic for a cat, even a familiar. Yes, your owl is much more accustomed to the cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a lot of feathers.
Yeah. Actually, when I have a few moments, I must re-summon her as a snowy owl.
You could do that before we leave if you want.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Just the thought. All right.
All right.
I assume we're going to need some perception checks.
Well, first, we're going to need a survival check to confirm our heading.
Got the coast. If we get lost on the coast, we're seriously screwed in this adventure.
Nevertheless, we still need a heading, so I'm going to ask for a survival check.
Well, I have survival.
Yep. I'm going to be assisting you, even though I don't have it.
Yeah. Survival's intelligence?
Wisdom.
Wisdom. Oh, that's slightly a lower number. That would be a 17.
All right. That's more than good enough. So you're positive we're heading in the right direction.
Good. If you get lost when you're following a coastline, that's just sad.
All right. And now I need to roll this for a second. All right. So now we're both going to make perception checks.
Oh, I have advantage still.
Yes, because you're owl. I do not. So we're going to roll separate ones. Okay.
Oh, you're proficient in it now, so.
I am, yes. So my perception check was a 13.
Mine's an 18.
All right.
My owls.
Yes, between you and your owl.
Yeah.
All right, so our brooms have a fairly good fly speed.
Yep.
They're not over encumbered. So we're making good time.
We're not going to push it because we are trying to survey as we go along.
Yes. So we're going at a relatively quick speed, but we have to keep our eyes out. Though, admittedly, we don't have to do that until after we leave the confines of Lyria, basically.
One assumes, hey, that ship over there on the ground, yeah, that might be it. One assumes they've done at least that much.
Yes. So, needless to say, we have to wait a little bit before we're outside of Lyria before we actually start searching.
Yes. I keep my eyes open anyway, but yeah.
Yes. So with those rolls and our heading, and just given the fact how far out the ship was, it does take us 6 hours of travel.
Yep.
So it's quite cold, even with your stone and your fur coat.
Yep.
That you like to wear.
No, it's my heavy wool cloak.
Heavy wool cloak.
Yep.
Yeah. Nevertheless, after the 6-hour mark, we're surveying, we come along the Lyrian coast, and you can move along to, should be the next image.
This doesn't look auspicious.
All right, so we're coming along from the south here, the image on the top, and we see this.
You're coming from...
Yes, we're coming down, obviously, from the top, heading south.
Coast is on the wrong side, though.
No, maybe we're coming from the direction. Anyway, see, this is the thing. The image, the two images have us going the wrong way, I think.
That's okay.
That's fine. Anyway, so we're near the Lyrian coast, and we see, well, what looks like a thoroughly wrecked ship.
Yes.
Which appears to have run aground on some icebergs.
Yeah. I am going to try and see if I can find the name of the sea serpent written anywhere on this derelict.
Right. That will be a perception check.
"22."
Right.
I'm gonna be so screwed later on. All the good rolls are definitely going away now.
So it takes you a moment. However, you are able to find the name, the sea serpent, scrawled on the back of the ship, which is indeed the back half of the ship, because just as the image depicts, the ship has crossed on a series of icebergs and rocks and has split in two.
That is serious damage.
Yes. So the back half here is actually relatively secure by the looks of it. It's not quite like flat, but it's perched in such a way that it doesn't look like there's too much structural integrity there. The front half, on the other hand, I mean, that's a good 50-degree angle there.
Yep, there's not more.
Yeah. And it's definitely run aground up there. And it looks rather precariously perched. And there's some driftwood and some debris in between the two that's clearly fallen in the water, which means some stuff may have fallen out.
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine what could have done this without a storm.
You
Hmm.
also do not see any movement from the ship from our current position.
Do I notice any bodies?
Uh, Nothing on the deck.
All right.
We would have to get closer to examine the interior of the ship.
Well, I don't see anything moving. Don't see. Do I see anybody possibly lurking that might be ambushing us if we got too close?
You can roll a perception check to examine the area with my assistance, or your owls.
19.
All right. You survey the area. You don't see anyone lurking, hiding behind a rock or a snowdrift with a loaded crossbow or anything like that.
All right.
You do see movement beneath the water, you believe, and based on the fact we're on the coast and some ways off, you think that some of these might be some sharks and other large aquatic predators and other types of fish that might be coming along to possibly get a free meal from this wreck.
Okay. Well, I'm going to attempt to land here.
All right, so we're going to land on the rear of the ship.
The part that you said they looked more stable.
Yes. So we're going to actually land.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you land on the rear of the ship.
Yep.
All right. As we land there, you notice the ship is thoroughly damaged. First of all, one of the masts, which is the one that would be attached to this rear section of the ship, has snapped.
Okay. We've been on a few ships.
Yes.
We've been in a few battles. Well, sort of a battle involving a ship. All right. What could possibly have caused this much damage? I'm going to have a look around, try and determine what caused this.
This will be an investigation check. And you have advantage with either my assistance or your eyes and minute seeing.
Yeah, so that is a 23.
All right. So, given the fact that we're on the rear section of the ship, we're going to limit the investigation check to that.
Yes.
So, as I said, the mast has snapped, and it has snapped due to immense force, which could just have been the ship crashing, to be fair. You don't see any obvious, given our recent encounters and previous attacks on ships, any obvious signs of burns or what you would consider electrical or lightning blasts.
Yeah.
Blue Dragon is probably the first culprit that comes to mind with something like this.
Well, something along that size of force would be required, that's for sure.
Yeah. There is nothing that indicates that that sort of thing would be used. There's tons of damage, but most of it is impact and purely just bludgeoning and physical damage to the actual ship and its hull. The ship has basically begun to, for all its purposes, frost over, being left to the elements. There's snow and there's ice forming.
Yeah.
And there is no sign of any of the crew on the deck of the ship, or just you look over the other one on that. Then again, looking at the angle that's at, they probably would have fallen in the water if they were on there.
Okay, while I'm standing here, I'm gonna try and look into basically the hold, see if I can see anything from there. If not, I'm gonna make my way into here and hopefully below deck. Actually, no, I'm not gonna bother with that. I'm going to step over to the edge, use my
We
broom
can't
to
technically just fly in if you really want to.
Gonna fly down to the hold.
All right, so you want to fly into the holds, but again, I just want to make sure on this side of the ship we're currently on.
Yeah, I want to look at the other one though.
All right. So as we float down,
Yep.
you can roll a perception check, and so will I.
I am so screwed later on. 21.
17 for me. All right. So since we're going to be entering the hull on the hold on this side, we are looking at the other one across the way as we're coming down.
Yeah.
There are several bodies which are just basically, some of which are dangling over the edge a little bit on the ship over there. So there just seems to have been some crew, but they all seem to be in the interior deck inside the hold. You don't know if they went down there because they were seeking shelter or they just happened to be there. But there's a few of them, and there's several crates and other containers which are basically just all sort of piled up by right near the edge, and they just haven't gone over yet.
Okay.
The other thing we do notice is we can literally hear the other ship, the other half of the ship, creaking.
So it's not going to be there long.
Uh, a a sudden change in weight or anything really we could easily see that half of the ship tumbling into the water.
All right.
We also hear one other sound that's unusual.
What's that?
Almost like something made of glass rolling around.
From that side?
From that side, yes.
Huh. Do you have any idea what it is?
Uh, you're pretty sure it's something made of glass and it's rolling around.
Do I see anything?
So as we look more closely, we can see as from the distance, mostly because you have your eyes of night seeing and your owl out.
Eyes of minute seeing about this far.
Yeah, you also have your owl.
Yeah.
You see a basically what amounts to a glass bottle or jar rolling around.
Okay.
It seems to be. It almost looks like it's rolling as if towards gravity, but it'll basically get stuck on something, and then you'll see it go, and it'll jump a little bit, almost as if something is causing it to move.
Something is inside the jar causing it to. Someone's in a hamster ball?
Well,
How big is this jar?
like a small, like it would fit in your hand. It's almost like the size of a mason jar, so it's a bit smaller.
All right. This might be a bit of tricky flying, but I want to fly over and get a much closer look at this thing.
All right. So I believe we'll be going ahead 2 images. Because I believe that's this. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yes. This is what the interior of the front half of the ship looks like.
That's a few bodies.
Yes. And as the image shows, they are covered in frost and ice, having been left exposed to the elements without any warmth.
Yeah, I assume they're all dead.
Well, none of them are moving, which is
pretty good indicator. And
yes.
Also covered in ice, which is, kind of hard to be warm.
And there are several, as I said, containers, crates, and various other things which are sort of just piled up in this area.
Okay. I'm going to do a cursory medical check on them. What killed them?
All right, you can roll a medicine check, but it'll be a high DC because you're not getting too close to any of them.
Oh, no, I just don't want to land. That's the problem. I don't want to, not until I get that jar or whatever it is.
Yes.
I don't want to end up in the water. Cursory medical check. 12?
12. All right, just looking a few of them over, some of them have seemed to have of their necks have been snapped by looks of it, probably from having been thrown.
Okay.
A few others have been bludgeoned. One person looks like they may have hit the rail rather hard and looks like their back is broken.
So,
Near as you can tell from these particular bodies, the ones you can examine, you think these people probably died in the crash.
that is a serious crash. All right. And what about this jar that's
All
rolling
right, now
around?
we get to the jar. It, for lack of a better word, is pinballing itself around this ship at the moment, trying to keep itself moving, it seems, and trying to keep itself from rolling off the edge of the ship.
Ow.
There is no obvious external force on it at the moment. It seems to just be moving a little bit, like frenetically occasionally. Like it's almost like it hops or something. Like there's a bit of swirling mist inside it that seems to be moving it around a little bit. As far as you can tell. And it doesn't seem to, sorry?
I'm gonna cast Mage Hand.
All right, you cast Mage Hand.
And I'm gonna try picking it up.
All right. So I'm going to have you roll a spellcasting ability check. So let's add your intelligence modifier to see if you can get this, because it is a moving object, and also Mage Hand can only travel so far from you.
I told you, numbers are gonna get bad. 7.
7. All right. You try to reach out with the Mage Hand, and it literally, and the jar literally leaps over the Mage Hand in an arc as it comes rolling. Unfortunately, this puts it on a very different trajectory than which it seems to have wanted to do, which is to stay on the ship. Instead, it seems to now be heading towards the edge, and I'm going to see if it goes over.
I try again before it gets there.
You'll have one more chance at the moment. I'm going to see if it actually is going to be going over the edge or not.
All right.
That's a yes. It is rolling now towards the edge of the ship with a greater degree of momentum and than it had before, so it's going to be difficult for it to prevent itself from going over, you think. Also, as it does so, you hear the ship creaking again.
All right.
I'm going to give you one more chance to try and catch this with your Mage Hand if you want, or if you have another idea.
Well, short of casting web on the whole area, Mage Hand it is.
All right.
Oh, that's much better. 22.
All right. It goes over the edge, and your Mage Hand reaches out the last minute and grabs it.
All right. Pull it back from the edge.
All right. You lift it up. It's not too heavy, so
That's
the Mage
good.
Hand can maneuver it.
All right. I'm going to hold it in front of myself with my Mage Hand.
It's still vibrating.
What do I see in this thing?
It's like swirling mist at the moment, as far as you can tell. And it also seems, and as you look in there, you can examine it a bit more closely if you want to get more detail.
Well, I do have my glasses of minute seeing.
Yes, so this will be an investigation check.
That'll be 24.
Right. So there's like a swirling, almost cloud of cloud basically of mist or fog, similar to what you've seen me conjure occasionally for the fog cloud spell, but it's contained. Inside there, you also see these 4 very small, almost orbiting spheres of matter. And as you look at one, you notice one looks very much like a small stone, and the next one it looks like a small burning ember, and the next one looks like a swirling almost. It takes you a moment to realize, but it's almost like imagine like a sphere of wind and dust moving around, and the last one looks like a sphere of water, which is liquid despite the temperature here. So you think this is some form of captured elemental magic. The mist seems to be some, best as you can tell from that, is probably something to contain the essences at work here.
I see. I'm trying to save you guys. You might want to calm down a little bit.
I'm going to see what happens here. Still vibrates, but your Mage Hand hasn't held fast for the moment. It does not seem to respond to your verbal instruction.
This definitely seems magical. Now, what did they say was they had something from
So it was a sealed container of planar essence from the astral sea.
Does this remotely, from my point of view, seem to be that?
Both of us can roll an Arcana check to determine if that's what we think this is.
I have no idea.
Wow. uh, even with advantage on my check, the best I can come up with is I don't think this is from the astral sea. That's the best I can proffer from that. That was low.
Yeah, same here. I got Arcana?
Yes.
Well, I'm above 10, but not by much.
Yeah, I rolled a 14 total.
Yeah.
We don't, based on our rolls, it's very low, but given the fact that we see swirling spheres of what looks like to be the four elements going off of that, we don't think this is from the astral sea.
All right. I'm going to pull out one of the many sacks and bags that I carry for this sort of thing.
Yep.
I'm going to put it in one of those, tie it tight, tie it to my broom.
All right.
Because I don't want this thing to get away, but I don't want to throw it in my bag of holding just in case there's some sort of pocket universe involved here.
Can I just ask for a dexterity check to see how firmly you tie this to your broom? Because throughout the entire time, it's still vibrating.
Dex check.
Yes.
Right in the middle. 10.
All right. Throughout the entire process, while your mage hand is holding this, and while you're attempting to put it in the bag and then tie it and secure it to your broom, this probably equates to why you rolled so low. It's still vibrating and trying to get free, and it does attempt to actually lurch a little bit while it's in the bag and you're trying to attach it. Nevertheless, at the moment, you're fairly confident you've secured it. However, there is one obviously problem with this. If this thing is going to keep trying to do this, it might come loose at some point.
All right. Once I got it tied up,
yes,
I'm going to pull out my rope of climbing, and I'm going to direct it to tie that securely. All 60 feet of it.
All right, so now you're adding 60 feet of magical silk rope, and what the rope weighs to your broom,
which is negligible compared to what I weigh.
Yes, but nevertheless, just making sure you're adding that to the broom.
Yep. Just don't want it to get away. I don't know what it is.
All right. The rope has done what you have asked to the best of its comprehension of that, based on the enchantment that governs it.
Yep.
And you think the jar is a bit more secure now than it was before.
We do have a scroll of identify we picked up. At some point, I might want to do that.
You could try to identify it because there is nothing in the identify spell that says that you have to take it out of the bag. You just have to physically touch the object.
For the moment, I was going to leave it as is because there may be other stuff. So,
okay.
During all of that, did anything else happen here?
All right. Given the fact that took most of your concentration for about a few minutes,
yeah.
Nothing else seems to have happened just yet.
All right. I think we should probably get out of this section before it collapses into the water.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go back to the other section.
Are we going to search the containers in here at all for...
What do I think would happen if I start poking around in here? Do I think this is going to slide into the ocean?
There's a fairly good chance that if you disrupt the distribution of weight on the ship, which is decidedly towards the section that is split open and oriented over the water already, that it could very easily tumble in. Also, interacting with anything too much might cause it to shift its weight, even if we ourselves are floating. So it's a precarious situation either way.
I'm going to go to the other side for a moment.
All right, we can get back to that.
Yeah.
All right, so that would be the previous image.
Just because.
All right. So we can only see this first section as we come in from this
So
side.
we don't see the dead body.
No, this is a wall with a door here.
Yeah.
Based on the positioning here as we enter the hold, you suspect that might be the captain's quarters.
All right.
The first thing that we notice here is that the interior is more intact in this position, and everything is positioned more securely.
All right. This warrants thorough investigation.
Because, as I said, this one is more or less flat.
All right.
Compared to the other one.
So I'm gonna search for everything. Just gonna search the place, see what's here.
All right.
That's terrible. 16.
All right. Well, did you roll with my advantage? Or
Oh, I got my eyeballs, my glasses.
I'll give it a roll. All right. It's a bit better. All right. A few of these crates have been smashed open, and their contents have spilled over the floor, and also some of them, which were definitely in glass jars or basically pottery style urns like terracotta, have smashed as well. Some of them are more secured neatly. And as you can see here, 4 of them are in securely locked chests.
Yeah. Oh, they're locked.
Yes,
okay.
It's probably quite common on a ship full of sailors to secure them.
Yeah. Okay. So didn't really find anything just in the general search, so let's try these chests.
Right. What the thing you did notice is a lot of the contents in the ship definitely does seem to be, apart from just general supplies, what you would consider ingredients for alchemical or magical uses.
All right. Any of them I recognize,
Mm-hmm.
I will collect.
Now, unfortunately, for the moment, as you can, a lot of the broken open ones seem to have either smashed, rolled off the ship, or have been exposed to the elements to the point that they basically are no longer usable.
All right.
There are several containers which are intact, as well as the 4 chests.
What's in the intact ones?
Well, they're closed. You would have to open them.
Wouldn't they have labels?
They do have labels, but they don't necessarily. But they're not actually it's not written on it. There's basically more like there's basically like a symbol drawn on them. First of all, not necessarily every sailor reads is literate.
All right. For the moment, I'll just leave that alone. I assume the captain or somewhere there's going to be a manifest
or a ship's log.
Yeah, we'll figure that out then. Let's go to the 4 lock chests.
One other thing of note. There's only dim light in here because while it is technically into the afternoon at this point and the sun is still up, the sun does set earlier now, and the light is only at basically we only have a bit of light in here. If you want to go further in, we're probably going to be in dim light unless you want to provide your own light source.
I will do so.
All right.
Cast light on the end of my staff.
All right, so we all follow suit. We both cast our respective light cantrips, which gives us a bit more light, and also illuminates something towards the back of this room.
Somewhere back here?
Back towards the wall where the door is. There's indeed a door there in that wall. But in front of that is a large black shape, which is now stirring. You think it was asleep due to the fact that we now are shining bright light in this chamber.
Uh-oh.
It looks...
I'll dismiss my owl.
All right, you can dismiss your owl. I'll do that. As it starts to stir, it looks like a large cat.
All right.
Almost panther-like. However, as it stands up, you notice the fact that it has more limbs than a panther normally does.
Tentacle-like limbs?
More specifically, twice the number of limbs a cat normally would have.
So it has 8 legs?
It has 6 legs, which resemble cat-like, but 2 which protrude out of its back, which resemble almost like octopus-style tentacles with a lot of barbs on the inside of them. And as it opens its eyes and it stands up, you notice there's this faint distortion around it as it starts to. Well,
I don't have to roll for this one. I know
as it
what to
starts to produce the effect, which is well known for its name. This is a displacer beast.
do. Yes, it is.
You also notice that there are several bodies torn segments of bodies around it where it seems to have left
That's
its previous meals,
Yes.
most of which are now gnawed to the bone as it stands up and looks in our direction, rather annoyed that with the bright light, but seems to be quite pleased with the prospect of a new meal. And I think what we're getting at is roll for initiative.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you have?
I have a 13.
All right. I have a 16. And the Displacer Beast, hang on, has an 11. Actually, wait, I forgot to add my initiative modifier. So I have an 18. It makes literally no difference, though. To the initiative order.
No, wait a minute. I added the wrong number. I have a 10.
You have a 10?
Yeah, for some reason I added a proficiency modifier in there and I shouldn't have. Only get +2.
That does change the order. You're going last.
I am going last.
Okay.
Alright, this thing could be interesting. I've never fought one of these before.
All right. Well, as it stands up and we notice its long tentacle-style arms, it's already begun to perform its illusory displacement effect around it, which makes it very difficult to be standing near its actual location. It's quite similar to the effect of the spell Blur, and also across between that and our mirror image spell that we use quite frequently.
Yep.
So we only have a vague idea where this thing actually is.
Makes it much harder to hit.
However, I'm up first.
Yeah. What are you going to do to this thing?
Well, going on the fact that we're trying to search this room for possibly quite sensitive materials, I think area effect spells are a bad idea.
What? No fireballs?
Well, that's just what I'm thinking of. Alright, I am not entirely sure. We've never encountered one of these before, so I'm not entirely sure how dangerous they are.
I do not know either.
Well, just for a start, I think because it's probably a good idea, and I forgot to do it before we came in here, I'm going to cast
Mage armor?
I'm going to take out a section of scrap leather from my spell component pouch, which has basically had a rough image of a magic circle drawn on it, and I'm going to cast Mage Armor, which raises my armor class.
You always forget to cast Mage armor.
Well, to be fair, we hadn't encountered anything hostile before, so I'll be doing that for my first action in combat here.
Alright. So you're a little harder to hit.
A little harder to hit. I also have a light cantrip going on the end of my staff, and we are still technically flying, as we never said we landed yet.
No, I'm sure we're off our roofs.
Yeah. We probably would have to be in here because it's a low ceiling, it's a ship.
Yeah. We just have to drop because it also searched, right?
Yeah. Alright, so we're off our brooms. So there's one other factor I should probably bring up at this point. There is some detritus and debris and still some ice and snow in here, so the ground is difficult terrain.
For you?
Around.
Even for you?
The ice and snow isn't an issue, But given the fact that there are things beyond that which is also making this difficult terrain, this is one of the rare instances in which my boots to the Winterlands do not help me.
Alright. Okay.
I would say it would still probably hamper me even with that.
Okay.
The good news is it'll hamper it as well.
Somehow I don't think that's going to matter a whole lot.
Alright, so that was my action. So... Alright. We come to it now.
Yep.
Well, it's not the most complicated of creatures.
No. Sees food, must eat.
Alright, it basically does what cats normally do, which is arch its back and it leaps.
Yep.
One section of where it is standing over towards us.
Alright.
So it's able to leap 20 feet.
Is that enough?
Not quite enough to get to us, but then the rest of its maneuverability gets us a bit closer to us. I'm going to see who it's going to go for now.
So when it starts going for me...
It's actually going for me.
What? That's not right.
And we still see... We can get a close look now at the weird illusory effect around it. As its tentacles whip towards me, both of them.
Okay.
Well, that's a miss. The first one.
Okay.
And that's a 16, which is my armor class with mage armor.
Are you casting shield?
No, I'm gonna see how bad this is.
Okay.
There's only one of the tentacles.
Alright.
Oh, and you can tell, by the way, based on the way these tentacles flash out, they have a reach greater than 5 feet.
Yeah, kind of figured.
Alright. So, as the tentacle basically slaps into me,
Yep.
it drags those fang or like barbs on the inside of it across my body.
Fun.
Yes, so I take 7 points of bludgeoning damage and 5 points of, I think it's slashing. No piercing damage.
Well,
Alright. So, not the worst thing in the world, but I do take damage from that.
yeah.
Alright. And that's its turn. It is in melee with both of us now, by the way, with his reach.
Okay.
So we come to you now.
Well, so many things I could do. What I decide to do is cast Crystal Summons.
Alright.
I'll just do it first, third level.
Alright. Roll and see what you get.
5. What is a 5? I got a giant constrictor snake.
I think you've gotten that before.
No, I think you got it. Anyway, one of us got it.
Anyway, roll initiative for your summoned creature.
It has a 14.
Alright. So... Alright, what's its hit point total?
It has 60 hit points, armor class of 12, and a speed of 30.
Alright. So it's not going just yet because we passed its initiative order.
Yep.
Anything else?
Well, sadly lacking in bonus actions. So, I'll just stand here and...
Are you going to give your crystal summons any commands? Because I think you can do that.
Yeah, it's verbal, so... Actually, no, this one isn't verbal. This is mental.
Oh, that's the summoning crystals.
Yeah. Mentally tell it to strike and try to grapple this thing.
Alright. We come to me now.
Yep.
As your summoned creature comes in, we do hear the ship creak a little bit in reaction to it, but we don't feel any actual shift in it, really, in its weight or its position at all. The ship is clearly much more secure than the other one. This probably wouldn't have gone as well if you had done so over there.
Yeah.
However, for the time being, we seem to be fine.
Okay.
All right. I said, well, that was not funny getting hit by that thing.
Yeah. 12 hit points is 12 hit points.
All right. I don't like how it's shifting around, I said. Makes me think that might be make it a little hard to hit. Basically, the one thing we do know about these creatures.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hit it with something that never misses.
What? Not a magic missile.
Well, that's terrible. All right. So the 3 darts strike it and do 8 points of force damage.
Oh, God. That is sad.
Yes. Don't think magic missile counts as an attack. No. I was going to say it doesn't based on the wording of the ability.
I don't understand why you're asking that.
Anyway, it's not important. It might come up.
It has something to do with the displacer piece, I assume. Well, it's going to come up right now because the snake is going to strike at it.
Yes, we come to the giant snake.
All right. There's a 19 hit.
All right. Oh, your attacks are at disadvantage against this thing.
All right. First roll was a 19.
Yep.
Second roll's above that.
So you hit.
All right.
So your instructions were to try and grapple this thing.
It happens automatically, so it doesn't really matter.
Yes. So as your snake wraps around it, grappling still technically counts as an attack.
Oh, hold on a sec. Before we get to that, it does take damage from this.
Oh, it's automatic when you hit?
Yeah.
Okay.
15 points of damage.
Alright. So, as your snake hits it and wraps around the creature, that displacement effect around it comes to a halt for the moment as it has been damaged and appears to have been grappled by the snake. That effect seems to have been interrupted at the moment.
Okay. And for it to break free, it's a DC 16 strength check.
DC 16, alright.
Unless, of course, I can just blink out of there. Because I know these things do have some interesting abilities. I just can't remember all of them.
Yeah. There's one other thing I forgot to mention. We'll cover this now.
Yeah.
The jar, which you have attached to your broom, which is now just off in the corner, is still trying to maneuver. It's still trying to break free, but the rope is holding now. However, it does seem to have caught the eye of the cat-like displacer beast.
Oh, good God. And I didn't put the broom down, by the way. I'm holding on to it.
All right, so you're holding on to it, so it's right there, and it's still trying to maneuver.
Yeah.
And yes, this clearly has the displacer beast's interest.
That's fine by me.
All right, so we come to its turn.
Yep.
All right. So, are you going to try and break free, or are you just going to attack? Well, displaced beasts are not terribly intelligent, so it's just going to attack.
Okay.
It now has 4 targets.
You're trying to tell me that the bag tied to my broom is a target?
Yes, and I just rolled. I promise I rolled. But I rolled a d4 to see who I was going for. 1 was you, 2 was me, 3 was the snake, which I thought would probably will go for that anyway, and 4 was the jar in the bag. And I rolled a 4.
Alright, seeing how I'm holding this thing, basically it's kind of like I'm moving around.
It's got a bit of cover, I'm going to say.
Alright. If I cast shield, will that even be more cover?
It's not technically attacking you. We'll see. We'll get to that in a moment. We might make a ruling on that. But let's see if this thing can even hit it. So it says grappled on your snake's ability, right? Not restrained?
No, it's grappled.
Alright, so this doesn't affect... So its attack rolls are unaffected, unfortunately. Well, that's an 18 to hit the jar in the bag.
What's the AC of the jar in the bag?
It's definitely not 18.
Yeah, alright. I'm holding this broom.
Yes.
Can I cast shield to protect the jar in the bag?
I'm tempted to say yes. Because you obviously can do that if you want to try doing that.
Alright, I'm going to try doing that. As a reaction, I cast shield.
Alright, you cast shield from
my ring.
From your ring, alright. So yes. So you use one of the charges from your reforged ring of protection, you bring it up, and you create the shimmering dome of force, which protects you. And just because I want to make this, no, just because this is funny. That so basically, I set the jar's armor class at 10. You were giving it partial cover because you're holding on to it, which brought it up to 12. And casting shield brings the armor class up to 17.
So it still gets hit.
I rolled an 18, yes.
Alright.
Sorry!
It's okay. It happens.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't give the jar hit points. I'm just going to tell you that right now. But the damage is more than enough to shatter it.
Hold on. It's in a bag. And it also has a magical rope wrapped around it.
Yes.
Does that help? I know this is just stupid, but...
I know you're stretching the point here, aren't you?
As much as I can.
I'm going to say, based on the roll, the damage it rolled, which is just a little below maximum, by the way.
Yeah.
The jar shatters and the bag is torn.
Alright.
And then there's a pulse wave of elemental magic.
Okay. What does that mean?
Well, the glass goes flying a little bit, not enough to actually hit anyone, but as you feel the pulse wave go out, it basically you feel all this energy go down, and suddenly there is a circle on the ground.
Okay.
Alright, and 1 second. And for the moment, that's it. There is a circle inscribed on the ground by your feet, about 5 feet in diameter, glowing faintly and pulsing with mist. So the display space has a second attack now.
I have shield up.
The jar is gone. So
It's gone.
see who it's going. And it seems to just be taking a swat at you because you're right there. You do have shield up.
Yep.
And that's a natural one. It swats. It's the second tentacle does swat at the place where the jar was.
Okay. Well, I do have an armor class of 19 for no point whatsoever at this juncture,
It lasts for the rest of the round.
which is pretty much over anyway. Alright.
As the displacement piece's turn comes to an end, that illusory displacement effect starts up again.
Okay.
And now we come to you. That was a funny round.
That was different. I am going to step out of this circle and be leaving this displacer beast's. Wait a minute. Is shield still up?
Yep, still lasts for until the end of the round.
Alright, so I'm going to step out that, leave its attack radius.
Alright, it does get an attack on you.
Yep.
It's a total of 16 to hit.
19's my armor class.
Right, it slams into the shield.
Yep.
Spell actually does serve a purpose here.
Ah, well, I figure I might as well get some mileage out of it.
There's no real issue to you leaving the circle.
Alright. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to... I'm just going to cast Firebolt.
At it? Okay. At disadvantage, I'm afraid. Because
Why?
it's
Oh, that's right. It's
just come back.
yeah. Uh, 15 hit.
Yes, its armor class isn't that great. Its displacement effect is its main form of defense.
It takes 12 points of damage.
Alright. You blast it with fire. At which point that displacement effect ends again. Because a successful attack scored a hit.
Okay. Of course, the round ends.
Alright. At the top of the round, on initiative count 20,
Oh, good lord. We now have lair actions.
the circle pulses.
Okay.
And you watch as basically it drags snow and frost and just the cold atmosphere in the ship into it.
Yep.
And there's a bright blue glow in the center as 4 creatures emerge out of the circle.
Okay.
They look quite similar to a creature that you had a rude awakening with about a week ago.
Nuggets.
Yes, except these are made of a pale blue, semi-translucent ice.
Nice methods it is. And what's their initiative order?
And they rolled a 14.
What's their dex modifier?
+1.
So they go after the snake.
Yeah. Completely screwing up my initiative counter. Alright, and they all appear just flying in the air just above the circle, and as they flap their wings, they shed flecks of ice and cold vapor.
Yep. Yeah, do something about this circle.
Yes, because the circle does remain.
Yeah. Got Dispel Magic prepared.
So we come to my turn.
Yep.
I said, well, this has suddenly become a lot.
Yes, we now have more combatants. Technically, they haven't attacked us. Maybe they're just going to attack the displaced reason. I did try to help you guys. I don't think it was going to help. But anyway.
No. Anyway, I do have Dispel Magic prepared.
Alright.
So I can attempt to dispel this circle. I'm just going to roll one thing first here. And that's a natural one. Well, it wasn't on anything important, really. I cast Dispel Magic on the circle.
Alright.
Now I do have to roll.
No, it's not.
Not a third level spell.
Alright.
Alright, however, I do have Portents. So I'm going to use a 14 plus my intelligence modifier 5, which brings it to a 19, which would be sufficient to dispel any spell.
Alright. Does the circle go away?
So the circle, as I bring up my hand into create the blue rippling pattern that my Dispel Magic and Counter spells both create to destruct active magic.
Yep.
The circle, almost as if it's being caught in that pattern, ripples outwards and scatters, as if dispersed by the tides. It is enough to get rid of this Mephit summoning circle. The ice Mephits remain.
Yeah.
However, we get the distinct feeling I just prevented that from getting worse.
It could be. You never know.
So that's my action. Because Dispel Magic is an action.
Yep.
And I guess it's my turn. I'm going to move because the Displacer Beast has already used its movement, its reaction to attack you. And we haven't come around to its turn yet.
Oh, it refreshes at his turn. That's right.
Yeah. And I'm not in range of the Mephits, fortunately.
Oh, I was.
So I'm going to move back. I can only move 15 feet back, which puts me towards the wall a little bit.
Alright, so we were all doing this roughly here. You're going this way?
Yeah, basically I'm moving on an angle backwards. Yeah, basically between that crate and the chest beside it.
Alright.
Alright, that's my turn. We come to the giant snake.
It will now constrict.
Alright. So what does that do?
Let's roll here now. It takes an additional 12 points of damage.
You don't have to roll to hit?
Well, it is constricted. Well, I have written down +6 to hit.
So that's an attack roll, I'm afraid.
Alright.
Its displacement effect is gone, so it's a straight roll.
10.
It isn't... I mean, that's a miss, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense given the fact it's constricting it, but it doesn't constrict it enough, apparently, to cause harm.
Apparently not. But it is still grappled, that thing.
Yeah.
And
Alright.
its movement is 0 when it's grappled, right?
Yes, so it cannot move. It can try to break free or can attack from its current position.
So we're down to...
We come to the Mephits.
7.
Yes. All right, so...
You speak Primordial. Tell them we tried to help them.
All right. I also did just dispel where they came from. What are you guys going to do? Because... All right. Yeah. Because there are 4 targets for these things.
4 of them.
Yep. All right. Wow, that was almost perfect. I rolled 4 times. I almost got 4 different results. I got 3 different results.
Okay.
So 2 of the Mephits are going to... Yeah, they're going to do that. So it doesn't actually... Rolling was completely pointless for that. All right, it doesn't matter.
They're going to use their area effect.
two of the Mephits fly over, and basically the Displacer Beast and your Constrictor Snake. They're technically aiming for the snake, but because they're using their Frost Breath attack, it technically hits both of them. At the same time, another Mephit each flies over towards us and does the same thing.
Alright.
So I need a dexterity saving throw from everyone. 2 from the Displacer Beast and your snake.
Okay, well, my dex save is...
It doesn't have an advantage. No, but it does have that. Alright, second one. Alright. Alright.
My dex save was a 23.
Yep.
My snake...
Which had to roll twice.
Yeah, I rolled twice. Highest roll was a 7.
Alright. I rolled, with my new Ring of Protection, a 10, which is the DC for this.
Oh!
Yes. I rolled a 4 plus 6.
Wow.
Which is the DC for their breath weapon.
Yeah, I know, that sucks.
The Displacer Beast rolled a 13 and a 21, passing both saves.
Yeah.
And due to its avoidance ability, when it succeeds on a saving throw from an effect that lets it take half damage, it takes no damage.
Oh, alright.
Alright.
Well, my snake is nowhere near as lucky.
I mean, it's not a lot of damage. I'm just going to give that away.
Yeah, I know. It's not much.
Alright, so you succeeded?
Yeah, 23 or something.
Alright, I also succeeded. So, I rolled 3 points of cold damage. So you take 1 point of cold damage. I take 1 point of cold damage, and it can't be reduced below 1 any further. And the snake failed?
Yeah.
So it takes 6 points of cold damage from both breath weapons. I do need you to make a concentration check.
It's 1 point damage.
Still counts, I'm afraid.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, I know.
I rolled a 14. I don't have to add anything.
Yeah, the
to it.
DC was 10.
Oh, yeah, it better be.
Oh, I think this is the most confusing fight we've had in a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the Mephit's turn.
Alright.
The Displacer Beast now. I mean, I'm enjoying this, if nothing else.
Oh, yeah.
This is hilarious. Alright, the Displacer Beast can reach 3 creatures around it. 2 of which were completely ineffectual, so it's just going to attack the snake. I'm just going to say.
Oh. Well, it can't reach me.
It can reach the 2 Mephits that are above it, that are on. Yeah. But it's going to attack your snake. 12 to hit.
AC of the giant constrictor snake is 12.
Hit. And a 16 to hit, so 2 hits on the snake.
Yeah.
Oh! That's max damage on the first hit. Okay. So it takes 16 points of damage from the first hit.
Yeah.
And from the second, 13 points of damage from the second hit.
Okay.
Giant snake's looking rather hurt.
Yeah, a little over half its hit points are gone.
It will be bloodied if it had blood.
Might be leaking crystalline light.
Yes, it's got cracks showing. Alright, and the displacement effect of the Displacer Beast refreshes at the end of its turn. We come to you.
Oh, area effect spells would make this so much simpler.
There's nothing preventing you from doing it. I just said it might not be the best idea.
Yeah, I know, and I agree.
Yeah, there's kind of like this kind of mass here at the moment in the center. Right, I know you can't see where I'm circling, but everyone else can. Of your Constrictor Snake, the Displacer Beast, and 2 Ice Mephits now.
Yeah, it would be a perfect spot for a fireball.
Especially since I'm pretty sure these things are weak to fire.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it would do an awful lot of damage.
Yeah.
Actually, technically, it's really kind of far away from anything important. I got a fireball. He talked me into it. But I'm gonna
Why can you use anything?
I'm gonna use the necklace of fireballs.
Alright, so you take one of the 5 remaining beads off of it.
Yep.
And you fling it. Alright, so it's a saving throw for both Mephits, the Displacer Beast, and your Giant Snake. The Displacer Beast doesn't get an advantage.
Oh yeah, there was some saving throws. My best fireball in a while. The snake.
Yeah.
Gets a 2.
So the snake rolled the lowest.
And is no longer with us.
The Displacer Beast rolled a 16, which I believe succeeds.
Yep.
And due to its avoidance ability means it takes no damage.
Oh, good God.
The Mephits rolled a 17 and a 20, respectively.
I can't affect its saving throws. Can you make it fail?
No, I already rolled. And also, technically, my remaining Vortex is higher than what it rolled.
Alright, so it avoids my 34 points of damage.
Yep. You see it leap in the air and come back down from the fireball because the snake is dead.
Oh, snake's gone.
Yeah.
Well, technically, it can't leap because it's grappled. Does that affect its saving throws or something?
Grapple does not affect dexterity saving throws, I'm afraid. That's restrained. Alright, the Mephits, on the other hand, succeeded, each, but are vulnerable to fire.
Oh, so they're both good.
So they take half damage, and then it's doubled to 34, which means there's now 2 fewer Ice Mephits.
And then they do their Ice Blast, which should get the silly snake. This Displacer Beast.
Alright. Upon death, it explodes into a burst of ejected ice. Each creature within 5 feet of it must succeed on a dexterity saving throw, DC 10.
Oh, God.
That's a 10, so takes no damage from the first one.
Yeah.
And a natural 1.
Oh, finally some damage on this stupid thing.
Alright, it's a D8. 2, which doubles to 4.
That's pathetic.
As it takes some ice shard damage. I just want to point out, for this thing's turn, it's been hit with like 5 different area of effect attacks, and it took 4 damage.
Yeah, I know. That's ridiculous.
You are no longer concentrating on crystal summons.
Yep. And that will be my round.
And the ship's deck section that you blasted with fire is not aflames, fortunately. All right. Top of the round, we have me.
Yep.
I said, well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So I technically have an ice method, only about 15 feet from me, and you have one from you.
No.
And then there's Displacer Beast, which is now no longer surrounded.
It is free.
Yeah.
That's all I'd really managed to succeed at doing.
Kill 2 ice methods
Wow.
with a fireball.
Yeah.
Could have done it with firebolt, I suspect.
I could have done that with a lot less, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're not hard to hit, by the way.
Not hard to kill either.
No. Anyway, they are, however, immune to cold.
Yeah. Don't worry about them.
Yeah, I think I'm going to focus on the Displacer Beast. It seems like the bigger threat. So once again, since this thing is both hard to hit and quite evasive, it's going to stick with Magic Missile.
Alright.
I'm going to cast it at 2nd level, though, to hopefully get a bit more out of this time.
Well, you gotta do better than 8.
That's a lot better than 8 because I rolled better than that just before adding any numbers. 10. Alright, that's 14 points of force damage. 4 more darts shoot out and blast this thing. Doesn't like the fact that it can't avoid those.
Well, it's taken 53 points of damage.
Oh, it's definitely bloodied at this point.
Yeah.
But it's a hardy creature.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do anything else. I'm not going to move because, well, I have an ice map. But I technically don't have within range, but that's fine. There's limited area to move, and these things fly.
Yeah. And the Displacer Beast can leap.
Alright, we come to the Ice Mephit's turn. At the top of their turn, their breath weapons do not recharge.
So that means they're swinging at us.
They don't really care the fact that the Displacer Beast is free. They're just going to go for the nearest targets, which is you and me. So yes, one of them each closes with each of us.
Yep.
The one on you wants to attack. Rolls a 15 to hit.
It hits.
Okay, you're just going to take the hit.
Yeah, they don't do well in damage. They're not.
One of me rolls a 7.
Right.
Alright, so the claw attack on you.
I have cold resistance at the moment.
Alright. Alright, so it swipes with an icy claw at you, which does 4 points of slashing damage. And then 4 points of cold damage, which is half to 2.
Yeah.
So you take 6 points of damage total.
Yeah.
Not a lot of damage, but it rolled really well. Rolled one below max. It's feeling good about that.
Well, I'm glad it's feeling good. I'll give it a pat in the head later.
That's all it can do.
Yep.
We come to the Displacer Beast. I'm not going to roll who it's going for because the person who has managed to hit it twice is going to be its target, which is me.
I haven't done anything. Oh, yeah, I conjured the snake.
Yes, the snake briefly grappled around it. This creature isn't intelligent enough to figure that out, though.
Alright.
It has an intelligence of 6. It's very much operating on animal level intelligence. And it definitely did see where all the magic darts were coming from.
Is it an animal?
You can roll a nature check.
Nature.
Straight intelligence, then.
16?
No, it is a monstrosity. And you know they are also evil creatures. Lawful evil. And they are often willing to basically become pets and guards for evil individuals, but it's a monster nonetheless.
Can't make friends with it.
It performs another leap and manages to get right towards me.
Okay.
It's gonna make 2 attacks against me with its tentacles. That's a 15, which misses. And a 13, which misses. The mage armor, which I've cast at the start of this fight, is reflecting the blows off me with its protective magic.
You know how well that spell works, when you cast it.
I did cast it!
I know. First time in...
No, I cast it when we went down to the Hydra's lair last time.
Oh, alright.
Which, to be fair, was technically the first time I would have had the opportunity to cast it, really.
I was referring to the entire last campaign.
No, yes, I forgot. Yes, a peek behind the curtain. In our previous campaign, I forgot to cast mage armor almost every single time. I'm doing better.
Yeah.
All right, we come to you.
Is it blurry?
Yes, it hasn't been hit yet again, so it's got its displacement effect, I'm afraid. No fireballs, please, because it's right next to me now.
I was very upset with my last fireball. It did really well.
It did really well. What are you talking about? She took out 3 creatures. What?
Yeah.
Just to remind you, you do also have an ice method right beside your head.
I'm ignoring it. Well, my initiative order is really annoying.
Yes, you go right after the displacement beast, which means it gets its displacement effect back before your turn starts.
I am going to use the wand of magic missiles.
All right. Yep. That does not hinder. Does not hindered by its displacement effect.
Yep. And I'm going to use 2 charges.
All right. So a second level.
So that'll be 16 points of damage.
It does not like that.
And I make a rude gesture at him just because.
It's now annoyed because the magic darts are coming at it from 2 directions.
Yep.
All right. Begin your turn. Come to round 5.
This battle's going on forever for a displacer piece, I tell you.
The ice methods.
Sure.
All right, my turn. Well, I mean, going through quite a few spells here. Something tells me this thing isn't what caused the shipwreck.
No.
Yeah, so I think there's something worse. I'm just gonna hit the displacer beast with frostbite.
Well, it's a saving throw instead of a roll to hit.
All right, that's a 9. That's a fail. 2d6 cold damage. So that's 3 points of cold damage.
God.
It has disadvantage on his next attack roll. However, the frostbite does not get rid of its displacement effect because it's not an attack.
Doesn't matter anyway. My initiative order really is annoying for that.
Yeah. Alright. That's my turn. We come to the methods.
Yep.
Neither of them get their breath weapon back. One takes a claw attack at you.
Right.
17 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, no reaction.
I'm resistant to half its damage.
All right. Yeah, it doesn't do spectacular damage, does it?
No, I remember conjuring these things.
You take 3 points of slashing damage
Yep.
and 1 point of cold damage.
Half to half.
Sorry?
Doesn't get below 1.
No, so it's 1.
Sorry, what was that again? 3 and 1? 4?
3 and 4 damage, yes, total.
I'm in the double digits now.
You were at double digits to start with.
No, I mean double digits of damage.
Yeah. The second one is going to attack me. And misses. With a 5.
Everything's missed you so far.
I know. We come to the Displacer Beast now.
Yep.
It's going to keep attacking me. But it's disadvantage on the first attack.
I have to up my rude gestures at it.
Which is good, because that means it's not a natural 20.
Yeah, that might hurt.
Yeah, no. Frostbite is very good for that. Still a 24 to hit.
Yeah, you're getting hit.
And the second roll is a natural 1. Alright, the first hit still counts, though.
Yep.
But not a natural 20, fortunately. Oh, that's really low. So yeah, I take 6 points of damage.
Oh, that's pathetic. But you have taken a total of 18 points of damage now.
Yes, I've taken more damage than you have.
Yeah. I get hit a lot.
Not this time.
No.
Your turn. Unfortunately for you, you cannot benefit from it not having its displacement effect based on your initiative coming right after it.
Yeah, it basically gets rid of... I can't area effect because I hit you.
Yeah.
And I can't target it with a cantrip. Well, I could.
You could. You just have disadvantage to hit it.
His armor class isn't that wonderful. Alright, I'm going to waste a round. I am going to cast Firebolt.
Alright, attack roll at disadvantage.
Yep. Oh. The lowest number is a 19.
That hits.
For 10 points of damage.
Okay, it's looking really hurt now. The firebolt strikes it basically in its flank and it goes down and gets itself back up. It's still got some fight left, but as it comes up, the displacement effect vanishes.
I don't care. Because I don't get to use the advantage of it.
Alright, top of round 6, we come to me.
Battle's been going on for way too long for a Displacer Beast.
I reach down into my belt and I'm going to take out the enchanted dagger.
+2 dagger.
Yeah, the +2 enchanted dagger. And I'm going to try and hit the Displacer Beast now that it's no longer shifty.
Okay.
That's a total of 20 to hit.
Wow.
Alright. 1d4 plus 4.
Not bad.
I roll a 1. Plus 4 is 5.
Yeah.
So I take the dagger out, stab it right in the head.
Don't tell me you're gonna kill this thing with a dagger.
I'm killing it with the dagger.
Oh, God.
And I put it down.
Alright.
And it slumps to the ground, dead.
Alright, Displacer Beast is gone.
Ice Mephits.
That's left.
The one on you gets its breath weapon back.
Alright. Have at her.
So it's going to use its breath weapon.
Okay.
Dexterity saving throw.
25.
You still take half damage.
Quarter damage.
Alright, so that's another 3. Which halves to 1, which cannot be halved lower than 1, which means you take 1 point of cold damage. We are well prepared for cold. Have you noticed that?
Yep, it is winter.
Yeah. The other one's going to claw attack me when it misses. Your turn.
Alright.
It has ceased to be amusing. It has now become sad.
Yeah. So I have disadvantage to hit with a firebolt.
Yes, because you have
Fine.
a creature in melee.
But do I have I still have disadvantage to hit the one on you, right?
I think so, yes. I think that's how it works.
I think alright, so I'm gonna firebolt the one on me.
Okay.
The lowest number would be a 21.
That hits. Their armor class is terrible.
$13, which doubles to 26, which I think is their hit point total.
Alright, so you launch the firebolt, even in close range, it strikes the creature, which is only a few feet away from you, and then there is an explosion of steam and ice, and I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
20, 30.
Alright, you still take half damage. You take 3 points of slashing damage as an ice shard nicks your face. It stings a little bit because it's now suddenly your warm interior is exposed to the cold out here, and also it's being cut by ice stings a little bit.
Yeah, being cut by anything stings.
Yeah.
Good thing it's not salt water.
No, because salt water doesn't freeze.
It does. Just takes a lot more cold.
These aren't made of salt water. They're made of whatever is on they're made of the ice and snow on the deck.
Yeah. Well, could be spray from the ocean.
It's not.
Anyway, I don't want more damage, so I'm gonna be quiet.
So, top of round 7.
One stinking little ice method all by its lonesome.
Yep. I'm just gonna take a hit with my staff. Because my cantrips don't, or do I want to use the dagger? I look at the dagger, I look at the staff.
Dagger hits better.
That was fucked. I take a swing at the dagger.
You're swinging at your own dagger?
No, I take a swing with the dagger. Wow, that's a 24 to hit.
Yeah, probably does, but you're not gonna kill it.
That's 6 points of piercing damage as I stab a creature made of ice with an admittedly enchanted blade.
Yep.
But still.
Yeah.
It takes it.
Yeah.
And I think the staff might have been a bit more effective.
If you hit.
Anyway, it's its turn.
Yep.
It does not get its breath weapon back. It claws at me and misses.
Firebolt. That's a low number. 12?
Hits. These things are not hard to hit.
Apparently, they're very easy to hit. Oh, that's way too much damage. 34 points of damage.
Alright, so needless to say, you kill the ice method. You overkill it.
Yeah.
And then, I suspect I'm going to take more damage from this than anything else has been able to do to me.
Well, no, you're taking quarter damage or half damage.
So the dexterity saving throw is an 11, so I take half. Ooh, that was max damage. I take 4 points of slashing damage.
You're cold resistant.
It's not cold damage I'm taking. Alright! Despite the fact I am, yes, getting punctured by an ice shard. It's technically slashing.
Yep.
Alright. So, As the battle dies down and the mist settles from the ice method exploding,
Yep.
we take a moment to gather ourselves, and here's a good time for us to take our break.